Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Good Pods, Pocket Casts, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 125. Available now. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? It's the end of the year, man. I had to dust off the penguin suit. That means you get my 10 favorite movies of 2023 along with 3 honorable mentions. I don't know why the lean function in this chair is cooking right now. But this was a great year. Like, I'm in bumfuck Podunk, Texas. A singular 8-theater cinema. A Cinemark Movies 8. I don't have an IMAX screen. I don't have 4XD. I don't have any of these other high state-of-the-art tech theaters, man. So, like, I'm saying it's a good year. You know what I mean? I'm 10 years strong with this theater in this town on this channel. And I say this was a very good year for movies, man. And I didn't even see all the streaming shit I wanted to see. Animation was banging all year. You gotta ask Nick from the pod. He'll probably confirm that Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken was the worst animated movie of the year. And like, Trolls was fine. Wish was fine. Even Migration was fine. But bruh, like, we had Mario, Spiderverse, Turtles, Elemental. Like, animation was really great this year. The MCU, I think they came out and cooked 2 out of 3. The DCEU went out with such a poor whimper. Almost a year ago now, James Gunn put out that video announcing him and Safran taking over, basically confirming we gonna put out 4 movies. 4 different DC superheroes are gonna have movies. None of it lead to nothing. It's all nothing. Blue Beetle coming back, but his movie kind of ain't shit. So like, Shazam was good. Shazam was above average. I thought the general consensus didn't, but I thought The Flash was above average. I thought Blue Beetle was above average. I thought Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was below average. What else, man? Like, David Fincher dropped this year. Ridley Scott dropped this year. Martin Scorsese dropped this year. Denis Villeneuve was supposed to drop this year, but Warner Brothers panicked, pussed out, and put Doom Part 2 in March. A couple banger slashers. We got Scream 6. We got Thanksgiving. Saw put out a 10th entry. The Fast Saga put out a 10th entry. What else? I don't know, but let's just get into the list. At my third honor, M. Night Shyamalan dropped this year, because that's my honorable mention number 3 is Knock at the Cabin. I'm not gonna go too heavy into spoilers, but a family is in a cabin. 4 strangers knock at that door and lay down an ultimatum. The tension is heavy. It's kind of mind-blowing when you realize what it is going on. The family fights, and it's exciting. And the crazy thing is, M. Night is coming back in 24. I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I am of the mind that M. Night Shyamalan doesn't really have maybe but one miss. If you're going to count The Village, I think The Village, Lady in the Water, even The Happening, and After Earth are all just kind of misunderstood. I think they're all good for what they presented. Last Airbender, on the other hand, we not going to touch that. Honorable mention number 2, this is going to ruffle some feathers. Because, like, recording for the pod, the top 5s for the pod, not even top 10s. The top 5s for the pod, like, almost everybody brought this movie up. My honorable mention number 2 is Oppenheimer. Another immaculate GOAT director that I didn't say. Christopher fucking Nolan dropped this year and should win Best Director. Let me put that out there. This is a character study in its finest form. The man who created the atom bomb. He, like, the conflict of what he is doing and the repercussions. Robert Downey Jr. should be a lock to win Best Supporting Actor. The color, the black and white, the runtime. This is probably one of the longest movies I saw this year that did not feel like 3 hours. It was just so good. And like the regular supporting actor, Cillian Murphy, leading, expertly, masterfully leading. And the normal leads, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, all supporting. Then you got Rami Malek, Dane DeHaan, David Krumholtz supporting. Like, this was the best cast. This was the best ensemble of the year. It's just like, I drop it a few spots for rewatchability. I'm not like, hey, it's Saturday night, guys, let's watch Oppenheimer. I'm sorry, like, it's a great movie, but no. I will only rewatch Oppenheimer when Christopher Nolan puts out new movies, because I like rewatching all his movies before his new shit. At honorable mention number 1, I got The Creator. Gareth Edwards directing, John David Washington starring. And again, like I told my boy like 2 days ago, Gareth Edwards has mastered the art of a slow-paced movie, but never being bored. It's just the futuristic setting where, like, Asia doesn't trust America, America doesn't trust Asia. There are weapons at hand. The little girl in this movie is the weapon. John David Washington has knowledge, and he gets mixed up in all of it. It's just so good. It's just so good and so just visually beautiful. For the actual list, at 8 minutes into this video, my number 10 is The Marvels. I'm sorry, forgive me, put me on the stand. You know, arrest, take my credit card, whatever, take my Cinephile card, whatever. I had a blast with The Marvels, and I really don't care who doesn't like it. I thought it was like, if Captain Marvel, if there's a 1 to 100 scale for the MCU, and Captain Marvel may have been like a 65, The Marvels was like an 83. It was that much of an improvement over the first movie. The direction, Nia DaCosta direction was so much better. As soon as I saw Candyman 2 years ago and they said she was directing, I knew The Marvels was going to be a banger. And it is. Brie Larson's performance, if nothing else, is proof of that. She felt so much more comfortable as Carol Danvers. She was wooden and kind of trying too hard in the first Captain Marvel. She just was. Coming off WandaVision, coming off that first movie, you got the Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers relationship. You got Iman Vellani as Kamala Khan, as kind of like our eyes into this world, just fangirling out, being around her idol the entire time. The villain, good. Like, we're not going to get a Thanos every movie, I'm sorry. We're just not. The villain in this movie was good. And at the end, toward the end in the third act, I was like, oh, she's about to win. What the fuck? And then just the way it played out, the how we got left, the mid-credit scene, this was a great MCU entry. I'm sorry to crush whoever doesn't like women leading movies and whoever doesn't want to see Captain Marvel succeed. This movie was fun as fuck, and I loved it. At number 9, the first animated banger of 2023, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, I'm not a gamer, but Super Mario, everybody played Super Mario Brothers. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black. Anya Taylor-Joy, Keegan-Michael Key. Man, again, I've already said it. This movie was so much fun. I loved the expanding of the world. I loved the mission. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. The different obstacles that Mario got hit with to get to the next level. All the possibilities for sequels, for franchise, for shared universes. Illumination got one with Super Mario Brothers. It came out in April, so I hope you guys don't forget how good it was. At number 8, the most recent movie that I'll talk about, The Iron Claw. Again, I feel like I've said it like a million times in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I am what I call a fair weather pro wrestling fan. I'll watch in spurts. I'll watch the WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam. I'm a huge fan of Stone Cold, The Rock, DX, the Attitude Era, the WCW wrestlers from that time. My earliest memories of pro wrestling is Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Coco Beware, Superfly Jimmy Snuka. So, like, I missed the mark when it came to the Von Erichs. Their story is incredibly sad, incredibly tragic. But, like, I know Oppenheimer is going to come with all these nominations and accolades. The Iron Claw is the other movie that I hope gets some sort of recognition. Like, I don't stunt choreography, something, hair and makeup. Zac Efron should get recognized. So should Holt McCallany and Jeremy Allen White. Jeremy Allen White is cleaning up for The Bear. So this is like the biggest movie I think I've ever seen him in. Maybe the only movie I've ever seen him in. And he killed it. His character in real life specifically, like, goes through and achieves shit that I just don't see how it's possible. Yeah, man. Like, it's been, if you're on social media, like, you've read, you've seen, the Ric Flair character is the worst part of this movie. He's in, like, 2.5 minutes. Everything else about this is above and beyond excellent. Number 7. A movie that I know for a fact was on my most anticipated movies of 2023. I'm a little bummed that it's 7, but I love that it's on the list. That's Creed 3. The controversy going in, no Stallone, his beef with MGM or whoever's producing behind the scenes. But Michael B. Jordan directing his first movie, he killed it. Leading, starring, I'm sure he had input on the writing and producing. And it's just like, the boxing looked great. The relationship with him and Jonathan Major's character Damien, his kid, the Michael B. Jordan Tessa Thompson relationship, it all worked. It all built upon a great franchise. I think Creed 4 has been announced, and like, I want a great movie, but I don't want to wait until like 2027 for it, because I'm spoiled. At number 6. At number 6, fittingly enough, I got Scream 6. And again, controversy with this movie. It sucks. It fucking sucks that Neve Campbell wasn't in this. It sucks that Spyglass didn't want to pay her. Karma has come back around if you haven't seen movie news recently. Fuck Spyglass. But like, this movie was a banger. Melissa Barrera was great. Jenna Ortega was great. I love that Hayden Panettiere came back. I love the time that Courtney Cox got. The kills were brutal as fuck. The swerve at the very beginning was great. I like couldn't figure out the reveal. Like, these movies have become all about who's the killer. And these this surprised me. I'm sorry, like, I'm one of those, like, I buy in, I'm gullible. Like, multiple people be like, oh man, I knew at this point. If 7 comes out, and if 2 of the core 4 are in it, they kind of can't make it to the end of 7. And I think, man, I love this so much because I was all for Scream 2022, but the third act was trash. I was all for this, and I really enjoyed the third act. The misdirection, I bought into all of it. At number 5, Y'all know I'm a sucker for Pixar. So number 5 is Elemental. Another one that I feel like people just didn't give a chance. Like, everybody went in, it's Inside Out with elements. It's so not. It's just not Inside Out with elements. The story is so emotional. The different classes based on these elements. The conflict that needs to be resolved. The way it all plays out. It hits a lot of the typical Pixar tropes, but if it ain't broke, man, do not fix it. I did it again. At number 4 is John Wick Chapter 4. Keanu Reeves, it's been like, what, 4 years since Parabellum? Keanu Reeves back in here like he never missed a beat. The new characters are great. Probably the best stunt and fight choreography all year. The ending, I loved it. I don't want or need John Wick Chapter 5. If they shove it down our throats, of course I'll watch it. This is the best modern action franchise, period. Every entry is amazing. This might be my least favorite, but when they're all 5-star movies, man, who cares? I was so satisfied with how it ended. I like Ballerina is coming out. It's probably unnecessary, but it takes place in between 3 and 4. So within those 4 years, yeah, man, I feel like this should be 4 movies. That should be it. And if I had to guess, I would assume that Keanu Reeves is still rolling down those stairs. Bruh, at number 3, probably my biggest surprise of 2023, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I've always been a Ninja Turtles fan. The 1990 movie, the 80s animated series. Every time a Turtles movie is in the theater, so am I. Instead of focusing on the ninja, this movie focuses on the teenage. It's a new origin. This movie creates its own lore. It's brilliant. All the voice acting is amazing. The animation is not like Spiderverse. Don't get it twisted and ignore this movie because the animation is unique and you want to compare it to Spiderverse. They're different. Turtles looks hand-drawn. It looks like a flip book just come to life. You know, when you draw some shit on every page, you flip it, it looks like a cartoon. That's kind of what this is. Like Seth Rogen behind the scenes in interviews explained the animation style as hand-drawn in a notebook, and they just put it on screen. It's beautiful. Ice Cube in his first animated role as Superfly, great. Honestly, one of the best villains all year. Jackie Chan as Splinter. Like, the casting was so spot on. I cannot wait to see where this franchise goes forward. There's a show coming out, I think in April on Paramount Plus, that I do believe is canon. And I will be watching it. At number 2, my second favorite movie of 2023. And I told y'all the MCU went 2 for 3 with bangers. I already said the Marvels. And if y'all remember February, man, Ant-Man was a dud, bro. So, like, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I want to say this was my most anticipated movie of the year. It's like my top 2 most anticipated movies of the year flipped, spoiler alert, and became my switched places for 2 and 1. You know what I'm saying? This is such a deep and personal story for the Guardians. And it's like if nobody's seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but it's like there's an attack, there's an injury, and the rest of the movie is trying to fix that injury. It's so beautiful. James Gunn going out with a banger soundtrack. Very, very interesting mid-credits and post-credit scenes. I said Ice Cube, one of the best villains. Chukwudi Iwuji is the High Evolutionary. Possibly, arguably, but in my book, the best villain of 2023. He was so, like, Shakespeareanly brilliant. Thinking about this movie makes me want to watch it. Who knows if or when we'll get the Guardians back in the MCU. I want a new team and a Volume 4. But, man, with James Gunn on the other side of the tracks, who's going to direct and will still have the quirkiness? And will... dude, like, maybe we shouldn't touch it. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Pom Clementif. Dude, like, not knowing who these characters were 10 years ago, man, it sucks that they're gone. But, I mean, it sucks that we won't get any new adventures with them together. But this was such a beautiful movie. And, speaking of beautiful movies, if you know what my second most anticipated movie of 2023 was, you know what my favorite movie of 2023 was. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Every frame of this movie could be hung in a museum. It's that beautiful. It's like the co-leads between Miles and Gwen. Who's the bad guy? Who's the antagonist? And it's a 2.5 hour long animated movie. And again, it felt like it was like 90 minutes. Beyond could be mid. And this could still be one of the best trilogies of all time. Beyond won't be mid. I'm glad it's not coming out in March, because then it won't feel rushed. If it doesn't come out until, like I said earlier, I'm contradicting my shit. If it doesn't come out until 2027, cool. Because Beyond the Spiderverse needs to be perfect. Arguably one of the best sequels ever. Miles with the quotables, man. Everybody keeps trying to tell me how my story's supposed to go. Nah. I'm gonna do my own thing. Introducing the new Spider characters all added some type of different element. Drama, comedy, whatever. So many Easter eggs, so many references. It's just such a great movie, man. That's my favorite movies of 2023. What y'all list? Give me 10 with honorable mentions. I don't care. I put up my 3 favorite movies of the fourth quarter. Reviews for Migration, Aquaman, Iron Claw, Wonka, Anyone But You, all put up recently. Most anticipated movies coming. I just reviewed What If Season 2. Check it all out, man. Podcast, different homies, top 5s, most anticipated, on the way, all of that mess. I think The Beekeeper might be my first review of 2024. Blu-ray collection update in a couple days. Be on the lookout, man. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me. Watch these credits. Peace.